work session of the Mayor and Council for Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2013. The time is now 7 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by sending a notice on December 21st, 2012 to the Bergen Record and the Ridgewood News, positioning notice on the bulletin board in the lobby of the Borough Hall, and filing a notice of this meeting with the municipal clerk. I'd like to remind any members of the public that we have 3 fire exits in this room, 1 to the rear and 2 to the front. We're on the record, both audio and video. If you would like to be heard or seen during the public portion of the meeting, all you need to do is give us your name and address, and then you can ask any question or make any comment. Can I have a roll call, please? Judy.
Here.
Councilman Alfredo.
Present.
Councilman Cole.
Here.
Councilman McDonald. Councilman Bartoloni.
Here.
Councilman Papaleo.
Here.
Mayor Montero.
Present. Okay, we have 2 borough administrative topics. Number 1, authorize the plan of dissolution for the Community Aid of River Edge Corporation. Alan, can you give us a little history on this?
Thank you, Mayor. If I may, back in the, late 70s, early 80s, the governing body created a corporation entitled Community Aid of River Edge, and a bank account was opened up for donations to be received from the community to aid needy people. It was administered through our Welfare Social Services Department, and the aid ranged everywhere from a food bank at one time to shoes for the needy to eventually it ended up food cards or grocery cards were handed out on or about Thanksgiving to certain individuals that were identified as in need of this aid. The borough doesn't find a need for this at this point in time, certainly not the corporation. We would still maintain a trust account for community aid if and when it becomes necessary once again to receive those donations. But because of the interest in doing away with the corporation, which was responsible for the fundraising and the administration of it, I've been working with the borough attorney to dissolve the corporation. There's an online process which you go through, and I started going through that, and we got to one point where they're asking for a plan of dissolution and a certificate of dissolution as well. So in researching the matter a little bit further, I drafted a resolution for the council's consideration, and certainly the borough attorney to review at length before it's placed before the mayor and council to serve that purpose of being able to provide a plan for dissolution and being able to file this certificate with the state of New Jersey. The balance of funds in the account is $127.28 at the end of July. I would recommend that what we do is we buy another grocery card and provide that to an individual in town that may have need for it, and zero out the bank account with those funds. So that's the course of action that I'm recommending, of course, all of which is subject to the borough attorney's review and approval.
All right, any discussion? I know that we did away with our social service position. It was taken over by the county several years ago. There's really no need to have this dormant corporation on the books, and I think it'd be a good idea to dissolve it. I know Mr. Soreski would probably want it dissolved since he's the registered agent and he would be, subject to service. So, is the proposed resolution on tonight's 8 o'clock meeting?
No, it is not.
All right, can I have a motion to put the proposed resolution, if it's acceptable with our borough attorney, on for
So moved.
on for the next meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Thank you. Okay, next order of business, Alan, is the financing plan for the library roof, clear story. And again, you drafted a memorandum after speaking to the bond council. If you can give the benefit of your research to the public.
We reached out to bond council with regard to two ordinances that we currently have on the books, 1731 and 1789, both of which contain language to authorize bonds or notes for the improvement or the replacement of the library roof. At a recent work session of the mayor and council, the architect of record came forward and indicated that we should explore improving the clear story or replacing the windows, modifying some of the duct work, doing some other improvements if necessary prior to the library roof installation. The dilemma that we had is the amount of funding that would be required for this improvement. He gave a range of, I think, $60,000 to $70,000. I would add another $10,000 on top of that for contingency, other expenses that we might be involved in a bid of this nature. The ordinances have a combined amount of $260,000 available for the roof replacement. Our capital improvement fund has been depleted this year. We have about a little over $1,000 left there, which would give you another $20,000 in bonding. One of the ordinances does have some money available, which could be modified for the clear story improvement. The problem is, in order to make some of the old money available, make the new money available, you would have to pass new ordinances to do that. And that would slow down your entire process of doing the clear story improvement, the HVAC work, and then ultimately the library roof. It would take about 60 days for new ordinances to clear, modify language, or to provide some additional funding. Bond counsel, after reviewing the information which we sent to him, came up with a determination that he felt that the clear story improvement would be appropriate under the language that currently exists in 1731 and 1789 for the library roof replacement. So that $260,000 is immediately available to you for this part of the project, the clear story improvement. Therefore, it's my recommendation that in order to accomplish this on a timely basis, that you direct the architect that the clear story improvement will be a separate bid, separate and apart from the library roof replacement, and the HVAC work should probably go out at the same time as the clear story work. The clear story work can be charged to the library roof improvement monies, and that the council could then consider as part of their 2014 deliberations in November, December, January, February, putting money into the 2014 budget to replace or add to the library roof replacement as they saw fit. And that would bring you back to the point where you're ready to do the library roof in the spring, early summer, and you would have this clear story and HVAC issue out of the way.
Sounds great. Did Mr. Rogat put his opinion regarding the use of ordinance 1789 and 1731 in writing?
No, we didn't, but I kind of codified it by issuing a memorandum to you indicating that I spoke with him today. I'm sure he wouldn't mind doing that if asked.
Okay. All right, so we can go out and get the specs done and bid out the work for the clear story using the existing ordinances, and then when that work is completed, we can go out to bid on the replacement of the roof itself.
Step one, I have issued a memorandum to our architect to determine whether the current contract suffices in terms of designing this clear story work and inspecting it, coordinating the work with the HVAC. And if not, I'm expecting to receive a proposal back to modify his contract we would put that in place and then authorize him to do the design work on the, and the bid work on this.
Okay. All right, any discussion on this issue? Do you want to go forward? Yeah.
Yep.
But, Alan, just to be clear, the sequence of the work will still be, first we do the HVAC, then we do the clerestory, and last we do the roof, correct?
I'm not, I would rely on the architect and
All right,
his
so-
consultation with the mayor and council.
Good, so rely on
Which
this
comes.
architect initial comment, because that's the order things should be done. Now we have to attach a money value to each one of these. And that's where this machination comes into play. I mean, I would certainly hope that we could structure a bid that has multiple components to it. One of them being the HVAC, one of them being the clerestory, the third one being the roof replacement. And it's, you know, it's how we structure the bid, but we could get all three numbers at the same time, and we tell the contractors that we may or may not do the entire work at the same time, but we may want to phase the work.
There's not enough money. We don't have enough money bonded
But
to bid out everything. Al?
And by law, we only have 60 days to hold the bid. So we would have to reject the bid. If we didn't have enough money in place for the library work, for the roof replacement, we would
Okay.
have to reject our
Fine.
bid.
thank you for explaining that to me. That means we really don't have to go out to bid until February or March with anything. Because the one thing that we're ready to go out to bid is the roof work, which is the last thing that will be done. So how long are they going to hold the prices for the roof work? So if we're going to do it in an orderly manner, then we do it in an orderly manner.
Al?
But in order to create the amount of money that you need in order to accomplish all three at once, you would have to adopt some bond ordinances to do that. In order to come up with the additional funds, you need a 5% down payment. We don't have those funds available to us now. We may have it available in November if we can transfer some funds. And then you're still 60 days from that point until you can adopt an ordinance, a bond ordinance, in order to have sufficient funds. So then you'll be at the end of January before you have funds available, and then you're out to bid in February. If that's how you want to proceed, you're
But I
going to
thought-
roll the dice that monies may be available in November. If not, then you have to wait for your 2014 budget in order to add to the capital improvement fund.
But if we go out to bid on the roof alone, which we're ready to do, and then we also saying that when we get all the bids in, that work cannot start until we finish the HVAC and the clerestory.
Let me,
Isn't that what we're saying?
No.
I thought what we were saying is we're not going to go out for bid for the roof. We're going to go out to bid for the clear story. Isn't that?
Yes, but the councilman is giving you an alternate proposal.
Oh, okay.
And the problem that I see with that is when you receive bids, you'll have 60 days to make an award. At the end of the 60th day, you're going to have to make an award, which means you have to have funding available in order to certify that funds are available to make
I get
the award. Or you have to reject those bids.
Right.
You
But-
can't, okay.
What's the use of going out to bid for the roof if we're not going to be able to start doing the work until the other two components are done? Then it'll be more...
We wouldn't go out for the roof at this time. We would only go out for the HVAC and the clear story work. We would have two bids, basically. We would go out first for these two components, finish those,
And then go out to bid for the roof.
then go out to the bid for the roof in the spring of next year.
And we could do those... So now, this is what I need, your expertise. We could do those two components. They could be bidded separately. And then how would we fund those two components? By us putting them into the next year budget?
No, the clear story roof can be funded through two existing ordinances that we have now.
Okay.
1731 and 1789.
Right. That's per your memo.
And we have another ordinance that provides funds for the HVAC work. So, Funds are available for these two purposes just today.
I think we need to get an opinion from Mr. Polici also, as whether this 80,000 is his opinion based on an add-on to the roof project, and if we bid it separately, is this $80,000 project going to cost us $100,000, $110,000, and then we're going to be in a position where we're going to get a project which is too expensive, we want to rejecting it, and we're going to be in the same position that we're talking about now.
I'm just trying to save on the general conditions of the project, where to us it'll be a lot more economical, a lot more. It'll be less expensive to do all three phases at the same time. Now, if I'm educated, if you're educating me and say, no, it can't be done because of certain rules, then fine, but we all go out, we hire one GC. We're no longer doing with multiple primes here. One GC is going to be responsible for the clerestory replacement, the HVAC replacement, and then the roofing work.
I'm not saying you can't do that, you can, but you will wait until spring of 2014. Let's just be on the same page then, you'll wait for the funding to be in place by 2000.
Councilman Bartoloni.
I think I agree with what Vito's saying. I want to hear whether or not, and what Ed was saying, is there an economy of scale here? Does it just make sense to delay the project because it'll be cheaper to bid it out as one large project instead of two separate projects? I know it represents a delay, but the roof's not going to get done anyway until the spring.
Yeah.
So the delay is there anyway. Whatever we do, the roof's not getting done until the springtime. So
I can put that question to him.
yeah, would it be cheap?
But, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Mr. Palusi said that he didn't feel we needed a general contractor.
Right.
He felt, and so we had that savings. So,
What was the reason again why he felt that?
I don't remember, but I remember clearly saying that he felt that if we hired competent people that we did not need, we could do this in steps, and that we did not need a general contractor.
Well, I think the reason...
Yeah, go down.
Sorry, the roof manufacturer was going to provide somebody so that they would,
Yeah, I
oversee
think
the
that's
work.
where he was going to just
Yeah,
write
so it
the
wasn't
bid.
general, it was the roof manufacturer.
Yeah, but that's the phase 3 of the project. Phase 1 now is replacing phase 1 now is eliminating the HVAC that cools the clear story because it may not be needed. So that's, an HVAC contractor. Phase 2 is replacing the windows with energy efficient windows so that you wouldn't have to heat or cool the clear story. And then once that's done, then phase 3 is redoing the roof.
And we still have electrical work. HVAC runs on electricity, so there will be electrical work that needs to be done. So the need for a GC is apparent, and when it comes to these things, none of us has the time to follow up with individual contractor and say, hey, you're not finishing this, therefore we can't start the next phase of the project. You're not working in a timely manner. That's all the burden that's usually placed on the GC that becomes the quarterback of that team. And we're not hiring Mr. Polici either to be the clerk of the works for the project. It's just the architect who's going to give us occasional site visits. So, anyway, that's...
All right. Everybody's discussed this. What, are we doing anything tonight?
I think direction I'm getting from the councils, they'd like a response from the architect as to whether bidding it separately will cost more or waiting until late spring and then putting all three phases together, and doing it that way. So we can get that response back and discuss it again,
All right.
depending on what he says.
All right, so we'll ask Mr. Polici for his opinion.
Do you think we could have that by next meeting?
I'll certainly send the letter out tomorrow. I don't know when the response will be forthcoming, so thanks, Emily.
Okay, we have one item on the work session consent agenda, which is a decrease in the contract for the ADA doors, to decrease the contract cost by $2,000 because the masonry work was not performed. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Unfinished business. Any questions on the capital list? Any questions on Grove Street?
Mayor.
Yes.
I did have a question on Grove Street. Where are we at with that?
Alan?
Mayor, we did send off on August 28th a reminder to Rob Costa that we need a cost estimate from his office as to what it would take to provide the information to the borough attorney so that the easement can be completed. Last week, clerk's office and I, we drafted some draft language for signage to go up on the lot. This Friday, we have a meeting with department heads at 9:30 to talk about that signage, talk about anything else that might need to be ordered. And, you know, once we get the easement in place, then the engineer will be able to lay down the points for the striping. And I've already spoken with the superintendent, who I believe he said he would do the striping in-house, so there wouldn't be any delay. So things are moving along.
I also reached out to Mr. Costa and asked him to please get the survey work done of the easement area so that it gives Mr. Sarlo a deed description that could be put into the easement. He said he would get on it, but I haven't spoken to him since to find out what efforts he's made. So that's where we are. We need to get him.
Are we moving as fast as we can? Is there anything we can do to hasten the process, or no?
Mr. Grasso is here. He's ready, willing, and able to sign an easement so that we can have the head-on parking that we need. It's laid out, I think, for 24 cars. And that's without removing any, doing any major site work.
Correct.
So that's where we are. We need the survey work done, and we need a deed description for the easement. We need Mr. Sarlo to draft the easement. We need Mr. Grasso to sign it, and then we need to get the area striped and put up signage.
Mr. Costa
The
will be...
ordinance is all in place.
He's in charge of the survey, getting that done?
Yeah.
Because I went over there today, and they're still getting a lot of tickets over there for the parking. So, as quickly as this can get done, they would appreciate it.
Okay.
Mr. Grasso would like to say something?
Can I have a motion open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi, I'm Lou Grasso. I live at 170 Logan Terrace. I'm the owner of 844 Connecticut Road. I wonder if it's possible presently to ease the parking situation. I don't know what the actual procedure would be, but if the ordinance that does not allow parking on Grove Street could be changed temporarily, so maybe some of the cars that are parking there now, I think some of the businesses have cars parking there now to avoid parking on Kindermack Road to alleviate the situation of no parking on Kindermack for customers. Maybe somehow something could be done to change that ordinance or waive it temporarily.
We did change the ordinance.
Yeah, we passed the ordinance.
But now, for people to park on Grove Street, there's a permit required. So, did Kathleen just mention people are getting summonses on Grove Street, or were you talking about Kindermack?
Kindermack.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misinterpreted it, because I see cars are parked on Grove Street. I wasn't sure if now cars are allowed to park on Grove Street without buying the permit, since that hasn't really...
Well,
They get a ticket now if they park there? I don't know.
we couldn't give them a ticket because it's not enforceable, because we don't have signage up to notify the public yet. Once we put the signage up that this is permit parking, then we could begin to enforce that. But right now, there's really nothing to enforce.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to think, though, Mayor, if he's given the town approval just to expedite it, I don't know how long Mr. Costa, on my end, it takes a day to prepare it, but how long Mr. Costa to provide it. But if he's giving, there's got to be a way we could figure out if he's given permission to the town. as like almost an easement or a license at this point to go ahead with it.
I'd like to see, you know, the survey and everything, and, you know, just go over that first, because I have a commercial garage in the back, which there's a truck that goes up there. I just want to make sure it's wide enough
Right.
for a truck to go. And I also,
You need access.
I need access, and I also reviewed my mortgage and promissory note documents with the bank, and there's a clause in there, something to the effect that the bank has to be notified if you're ever going to grant any interest in the property. I realize it, obviously not selling it, but it is some form of interest, so I just want to present that to the bank, so I'm not violating any of the terms of the note.
Okay.
They're going to have their counsel look at it, so.
Right. I don't anticipate, I mean, it's a small bank, and we've had a good working relationship with them before, so I don't anticipate it, you know, be like a Bank of America where we get lost in a hole for 6 months. You know, so.
I'll reach out again to Mr. Costa tomorrow, and we can get him right on it.
Okay,
All
sounds
right.
great.
All right, take it easy, Lou.
You too.
Bus shelters.
We need to close.
Oh, motion to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Bus shelters. Where are we, Alan?
Mayor, if I may, I sent an email to the contractor's representative on August 20th, another one today. I've not received a response, you know, asking for a timetable, noting that, you know, the pads and the retaining walls are complete. I could send something off to New Jersey Transit and ask them to ask their contractor. It's about the best I can do at this point. I don't have a timetable for completion at this point, but I have sent emails to the contractor's representative.
I have seen a lot of work being done on them, so progress is being made.
I think that's our DPW.
Except that
No,
was...
it's another contracting company.
Yeah, but that was more than a week ago that the pads were put down, and Vito commented at the last meeting that it only takes 7 days to cure, and it's been 7 days.
It takes 7 days for concrete to reach the maximum strength. It still takes 28 days to cure.
They have them
I am
building a little
correct.
retaining wall around all of them, though. There's like little bricks that they've put around.
Right,
Yeah.
on a couple, right? There's still one that has
Wood.
around it. I don't know if they're going to keep it like that, I don't know if they're going to change it.
Looks like
Stay
they're
like
probably
that.
going to keep it like
It's going
that.
to stay like that, as long as the wood?
I believe so.
Well, I think the next step for Alan is to reach out to New Jersey Transit, to say that, you know,
Good luck, Alan.
it's the end of summer, and the fall weather is approaching, and we would like our commuters to have some shelter.
Get the Romans on the job.
Okay, HVAC, that's going to be a spring project, right?
Mayor, yes, I waited for most of the employees, department heads who were affected to be back from vacation, and Judy and I talked about trying to arrange an October meeting, early October meeting with the architect to meet with the departments that are affected to develop an understanding both ways as to what construction and demolition will take place, what the schedule is for that, and also what their needs are, communicate their needs to him in terms of dealing with the public and the work that they have to perform. So we'll follow up on that with a meeting with the architect in early October. We'll advise the council as to when it's been scheduled.
Thank you. Any other unfinished business? Okay. Any new business? No? All right. And I have a motion to open the work session meeting to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. If any member of the public wishes to address the council, to speak on any issue affecting their interest, they need only be recognized, give us your name and address, and you can make your statement.
My name is Stanley Gurian. I'm at 39 Coles Court. My wife was before the council January 22nd to make a complaint about the creek behind our house and ask for any solutions. We're still waiting for an answer. It's been 8 months. We've been more than patient. All we want to find out is, will the creek be dredged? If not, let us know. And can we put a fence right adjacent to the water? Because what's happening is every time the water comes, we had a large rain, it erodes part of our property. Our neighbor has a fence up, and what happens is it goes around his fence onto our property, and we've lost probably 6 feet of land. And we'd like to know what the solution is. We've been told in January we'll get an answer. It's now September. How long do we wait?
Alan?
May I be excused to get the minutes of the sewer subcommittee, because I believe we may have discussed this.
Yes.
Sorry?
Is that like go Alfred Hitchcock from Psycho or something?
It's the-
Sounds like the shower scene.
It is the
Sounds like the chipmunk version of
theme
the
song
shower
to Lost
scene.
in Space.
Ah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's
was
accurate.
lost-
You can name that tune
What
in,
was lost in space?
I was just pulling a map of Coles Court. Sorry about that.
I'm sure you didn't bring a survey with you, but is your property line on the brook or off the brook, or do you know, or
We're on both sides of the brook.
you're on both sides of the brook? Okay.
And you called us right after the meeting. You said, "Don't worry about it, we'll take care of it." Still waiting. Just like to get a definite answer and with time attached to it.
Right.
And I really shouldn't have to wait 8 months to get an answer. And I'm sure the town doesn't handle its business the same way that it's handled my questions. So, what do I do?
Well, we're looking at the sewer subcommittee meeting minutes. Find out if this was a subject of discussion.
It's January 22nd.
It's too many trees.
I know that DPW did some de-snagging
Yeah, TPW was there.
on Brook,
Mark, the zoning officer, came.
right?
Said I have a problem, and he'll get back to us. We haven't heard. That was probably around end of February or March.
Well, did he describe what the problem is?
No, he said the engineer will come and they'll consult. They may have, they may not have. I haven't heard anything.
Okay. So you actually own that portion of the brook?
I don't own the brook. I own the property on both sides. of
Both
the brook.
sides, right.
Yes. Now, the path of the brook has changed many times over the years. So my survey will be as of the time of the survey. It may not be reflect the condition as it is right now.
Do your neighbors also own either side of the brook?
I have no way of knowing. I don't know. But I know that the fence has been there, so I assume the town gave permission to put up a fence. All I'm asking for is, if I can put up a fence, what ordinances do I need to comply?
Mayor,
That's an easy one.
what I'm seeing in the minutes of the sewer subcommittee, dating back to January of 2013, the mayor, this was discussed at a public meeting. The mayor indicated that he would write the Bergen County Mosquito Commission and request their services to do dredging of Coles Brook. In addition, Mr. Carroll also requested the dredging of the boat launch, if the council will remember, and I believe that was included in the correspondence. Now, in addition to this, I myself had written the Bergen County Mosquito Commission back in 2007 when this was brought to our attention, I believe, for the first time. So the Mosquito Commission at that time, was non-responsive in terms of doing any dredging in that particular area. I'm not sure whether it was due to lack of resources or whatever, but the mayor at the beginning of this year did send a letter to the Bergen County Mosquito Commission requesting that. I'll continue to read on through the minutes to see if we have any other information, but the town will not go in and do that dredging
No, I
of the brook.
realize that.
But if we can get the Bergen County Mosquito Commission, who
Right.
does this throughout Bergen County, then they might do something.
I have no high hopes of that happening.
Right.
I just want, as an alternative, what are my options? I assume I can put up a fence because there's one on the property right next to me. What documents do I need to comply? What paragraph of the borough ordinance does it refer to? I need information so that I can do a proper and thorough job.
All right.
I haven't gotten that in 8 months.
Sir, what did Mr. Skurbitz ask from you? Because Mr. Skurbitz is a zoning officer, so if he can't process the permit, there's a zoning issue that he needs resolved. So either you need to get something from Mr. Skurbitz, or maybe Alan can find out what the issue was that he raised, because he's the only one who can issue that permit.
Well, I met him. He said I have a problem. He said he'll discuss it with the engineer. Since that time, I haven't heard a word. So I have no comment.
We need to know what Mr. Skurbitz's
I know.
concern is, because I said he's a zoning officer, he'd be the one that would issue that permit. So if he has an issue, then he's discussed with Mr. Costa, then we need to find out from the two of them what the issue is.
When can I get an answer?
If you give me your contact information, I will reach out for Mr. Skurbitz and Mr. Costa and have an definitive answer for you by the end of this week.
Okay, what do you need from me?
I just need you don't have to give me your phone number on the record, but if you just write it down on a piece of paper and
Sure.
give it to me, then I'll speak to Mr. Costa and I'll give you a call, and I'll speak to Mr. Skurbitz, and we'll put our heads together and figure out a solution.
Okay, will you give me section and paragraph that offense applies, and how close to the
If we even have such an ordinance.
do not?
I mean,
We have a fencing ordinance.
I know, but I'm sure our fencing ordinance doesn't say anything about proximity to brooks or
No,
anything like that.
So,
Maybe you asked Mr. Skurbitz a question that he couldn't answer.
Possible, but
I'm
get
just
back to me
speculating.
so that I'm aware of it. I mean, not to tell me anything is not an answer.
I agree.
If there's no ordinance, then I assume I can put a fence right up to the creek itself.
Don't make any assumptions, Mr. Kramer.
Well, I can't get an answer.
Do you have email?
Of course.
Email me so that I have your email information.
Sure.
And I will speak to Mr. Skurbitz and Mr. Costa. I'll get them to put something in writing, and then you'll have it.
I'll have it by the end of this week.
End of this week.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'll give you the email right here, sir. And this is your address and phone number.
What, did you have an original fence and it fell over? You never had a fence?
Never
or-
had a fence, no.
But you want to put one
I
up?
didn't have a problem before.
But you want to put one up?
I'd like to see what my alternatives are, to stop the erosion of the property.
I'm just asking, how is a fence going to stop erosion of the brook?
What happened is, when my neighbor put a fence up, the water went around the fence and came onto my property and started to erode the land. So I can possibly stop the erosion from taking place. I can't
Does
redo.
your neighbor have like a solid fence, like a solid vinyl fence or something like that?
No, I don't recall.
Okay.
You want to write your email on that paper there?
I can't connect the dots.
You need anything?
Nope, I got everything else.
All right, someone else had their hand up? Thank you, Mr. Gurran.
I'm Bob Gruska. I own a house at 56 Spring Valley Avenue. That's one of the houses the Historic Commission wanted to put on their list. I was wondering what the status of this is?
The entire historic element is being examined by Mr. Neese, our planning board attorney, to make sure that it was properly codified within the master plan and approved by the borough, the mayor and council way back when. So until that's done and we get an opinion from Mr. Neese that everything is, that all of the i's are dotted and all the t's are crossed, we're not going to, it's not going to come back before us from the Historic Commission as to whether to designate your property in accordance with the ordinance.
This started exactly a year ago, so I
Right.
hope it could be resolved soon.
Well, do you want us to just vote on something that may not be valid?
No, but it's been hanging over my head for a year, so...
I would think that you were opposed to the designation, correct?
Extremely opposed.
So that, like, no news is good news.
Well... Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Greska. Anybody else? Can I have a motion to close the work session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We don't have any closed session matters on tonight. Too early. We can take a short break and then we can begin our 8 o'clock meeting. To adjourn the...
So moved.
work
Second.
session. All in favor?
Aye.
Who was this? Really? From last week?
Yeah. That's the problem. My suggestion to him would be just shut up.
2013, 8 o'clock meeting to order. If everyone could stand for a moment of silent prayer or reflection. Councilwoman Murphy could lead us in a salute to the flag.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend any meetings of public bodies in which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with this law, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge have caused notice of this meeting to be published by having a date, time, and place posted in the Borough Hall, and notices were sent to the Record and the Ridgewood News, filing notice with the Borough Clerk. The mission of the governing body is to provide essential services through the establishment and implementation of public policy to safeguard our infrastructure, providing honest, courteous, and professional services, establishing a sense of trust and accomplishment with our residents. We do this through research and prudent planning, seeking to minimize our risk while improving municipal services. We are sensitive to the needs of the taxpayers while realizing that the governing body cannot be all things to all people due to the revenue constraints that are imposed by state mandates, economic conditions, and prevailing attitudes about taxation. Can I have a roll call, please?
Here.
Present.
Here.
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 Present. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the Mayor and Council work session and regular meeting of August 5th, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained?
Abstain.
Okay, we have one abstention. Councilman Papaleon was not present. Approve the minutes of the Mayor and Council work session and meeting for August 26, 2013.
Abstain.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second. We have one abstention. All in favor?
Aye.
And we have one abstention. Okay. Approve the minutes of the mayor and council for the closed session meeting of April the 15th, May the 6th, May the 20th, June the 3rd, June 17th, and July 1st. I believe that we have previously been provided with copies of the closed council minutes, which were approved in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Appointments and personnel changes this evening. Can I have a motion to approve the salary change of Patrol Officer Joseph Zemides to Patrolman second grade from his previous annual salary of $85,213 to $94,887 effective September 16, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Approve the hiring of Michael Goldberg, 405 Chestnut Street, Paramus, as a school crossing guard. Hourly rate of $16.48 an hour with a 6-month probationary period, effective upon, contingent upon completion of training and a medical examination.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Approve the resignation of Ann Cannon and Beatrice Schiffo from the Beautification Committee, effective immediately.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approve the appointment of Eloise Teitjen, 116 Kenwood Road, to the Beautification Committee to fill the unexpired term of Ann Cannon to December 31st, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And to approve the appointment of Susan Grover, 29 Madison Avenue, to the Beautification Committee to fill the unexpired term of Beatrice Schiffo to 12/31/15.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Okay. Is Eloise or Susan present? All right. They can be sworn by the borough clerk. Can I have a motion to approve the retirement of Mary Lennox from the library effective August 15, 2013?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Approve the satisfactory completion of the probationary period of Tybee Manzelli, accounts receivable clerk, and a salary increase from step 1 probationary rate to $18.11 per hour effective September 19, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
All right, this was also recommended by our Personnel Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Approve a salary increase for Arthur Montemuro, crossing guard, from a step 2 to a step 3 at $19.27 per hour effective September 21st, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And approve the salary increase of Suzanne Walker, the police matron, from a step 2 to a step 3 at $19.27 effective September 4th, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Thank you. In addition to the appointments and personnel changes, we have various correspondence that is listed in the agenda, letters and emails, which are notices which are available for review from the Borough Clerk's office. There's an open public meeting, open public hearing for the local assessments for curbs, sidewalks, driveway aprons for the Howland Avenue Construction Project Phase 4, Section 6. That's from the end of the Howland Avenue traffic light to 95 feet east of the intersection of Bogart Road and Howland. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing
So moved.
to the public? Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Would anyone like to speak on the local assessments for these curbs, sidewalks, and driveway aprons? I know we have our tax assessor here, Mr. Anzavino. Maybe Mr. Anzavino could just explain to us how the assessments work? No, come on up.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Jim.
I would defer to the illustrious Mr. Negrion for his, what we basically do is we certify the cost divided into the front footage price of each linear foot, come up with a price per foot, and apply that to the area that's affected. So if I have 50 feet and it's $1 a foot, it's $50.
50 feet of frontage.
For 50 feet of frontage. 50 feet of frontage, yes.
All right, that's how it works. Any questions? Alan?
The only thing I would add, though, for the public is that when we have a grant to do the actual construction, the assessment is limited to the engineering portion and the administrative fee. And in this case, we do have DOT money, which provides for the construction of the curbs and the sidewalks itself.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Good seeing you, Mr. Mazzavino.
Thanks for coming.
Can I have a motion to close the public hearing for the local assessments for curb,
So
sidewalks,
moved.
and driveway aprons?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any further comments, questions from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Thank you. We have no ordinances on for first or second reading this evening. We have resolutions by consent, beginning at Resolution 13-308, up to and including 13-325, and then we have Resolution 1326, the payment of the bills. Would any member of the council like to pull out for separate discussion, consideration, or vote any of the resolutions on the consent agenda? See, Councilman Mignon's hand is up.
13-320, Mayor, please.
13-320. Yeah, do you have a question about that?
No, it's just, my wife is very involved in the organization of the carnival, and I just feel I should abstain from that vote.
Okay. Anything else? All right, let's, can I have a motion on 13-320, the approval to waive a portion of the outside duty fee for the St. Peter Carnival?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Rose?
Yes.
Councilman Estrada?
Yes.
Councilman Paul?
Yes.
Councilman Mignone?
Abstain?
Councilman Bondolino?
Yes.
Councilman Pasquale?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And can I have a motion by consent for resolutions 13-308, excluding 13-320 because we already voted on it, and to include 13-325.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion on these resolutions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Thank you. Ed, you want to do 13-326, the payment of bills, please?
Yes, ma'am. Whereas vouchers for the payment of goods and services rendered to the Borough of River Edge have been received, and whereas each bill has been checked by the receiving department, approved by the Chief Financial Officer and Borough Clerk, and reviewed by the 3 members of the Finance Committee, now therefore be it resolved that bills as listed now be confirmed for payment from the appropriate funds as follows. Current account, $617,254.87. Capital account, $3,410. Recreation account, $1,321.50. Open space account, $439.14. Trust other developers account, $1,000. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, any abstained? Thank you. Can I have a motion to open the public, the 8 o'clock public meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, would anyone like to make a comment, ask a question on any business affecting their interest? Can I have a motion to close this portion of the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Puts this up to council comments. Councilwoman Murphy, any comments?
I'd just like to report on the mayor's wellness campaign. Things are underway. We will begin Friday, September 27th at 7 p.m. at the NBC Project Room. We have online sign-ups. So far, we have about 40 people for the fitness. and 15 people for the Biggest Loser. We have a $500 cash money prize for anyone that would like to get in on it. Thank you, Anita De Silva, State Farm Insurance. She's also sponsoring our T-shirts. And we expect a really good turnout. We have a boot camp by Miss Yvette Halligan, October 5th in Memorial Park, 10 a.m. And belly dancing, gentlemen. Bring your scarves.
When is the boot camp?
October 5th.
Oh, October, okay.
Yeah. So we have a lot of programs that are going to happen, and we have a lot of excitement about the wellness. We have speakers coming to the library, we have nutritionists, so it's all coming together, and I hope everybody participates.
When is the belly dancing?
That's on a need-to-know basis.
Oh, it's not scheduled yet?
When are you taking a vacation?
Yeah.
Just wanted to watch, that's all.
She asked me if it would be all women, so I kind of was going to gauge, she's very attractive. The lightning detection system went off this past Monday at 2 o'clock down at KGB. So it is operating, and it actually helped the people at the pool to evacuate because they could hear it. So I'd like to say good job on that. I'd like to wish Denise well. I hope she's recovering. I don't know if anyone has heard of her status, if she's on the mend. She's okay. And the wine festival, I just want you to comment on that, and that's my comment.
Thank you. Vito?
Mr. Mayor, we're getting the engines going again. I think there is a beautification committee meeting next week, as well as both Riverdale and River Edge Board of Ed meetings, which are not in conflict with our own meeting. So I will show up at those two meetings and introduce myself again. Other than that, steady as she goes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anthony?
No comments, Mayor.
Ed?
No comment, Mayor.
Al?
No, not tonight.
Al?
Thank you, but no comment.
Fine. Okay, I can report that I did, after our last meeting, and a vote regarding waiving the pro rata fee for the cost of hooking up to the lightning detection system transmitter. I notified the superintendent of the River Edge Board of Education that the council had voted to waive their portion of the fee. I advised her that she can order the equipment for the Cherry Hill Field and the Roosevelt Field, and that they can hook it up to our system. So I did that. At the last meeting, we had Mr. Wright and Deborah Powell and Mary Donahue from the Historic Newbridge Landing Commission here, and they spoke about the good relationship they have with this governing body, and they reported a little bit about the Newbridge Wine Festival, that they had over 1,600 people in attendance, that it was a beautiful day, that they raised close to $30,000 for
Wow.
the new visitor center and museum that they have planned on that spot. Of course, I hope that it becomes an annual event and it grows. It was very beneficial to just see people walking across the street, droves of them, and going into the park and enjoying themselves. We had local musicians from the area, from Dumont, Pagoda, the Riverdale. There were two female folk singers from the Riverdale school system. We had vendors. We had Sanducci's there with their pizza truck. There was a barbecue guy that was there, and a hot dog vendor. And this was our maiden voyage. There were a couple of craft tables. I think next year the Historic Newbridge Landing Commission will have a bigger sense of confidence, and will open it up and get even more vendors, maybe some more musicians, hopefully some more wineries. We had 7 wineries, and there were long lines at one point to get a tasting. But it was a good event, and I'm proud that we pulled it off and it was successful. So anyway, I hope everybody had a good summer, and now we can all get back to work. And that's all the comments I have. Hopefully between now and the end of the year, we won't have any no natural disasters. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Edward, how come you didn't ask your father a question when you could have?